Okay, so yeah, this is the Funkast. Like I said, we're mainly focused on getting cannabis stigma, identifying it, getting it talked about, and then B, pursuing or progressing that talk and that discussion so people don't feel as in the shadows or shunned when they do talk about it. Again, you are in a different country, so it's a little bit of a different situation, but I feel that you have that ability to really enlighten a lot of people in this place here of New York. So, just starting, I love the name Canubis. Do you pronounce it Canubis or Canubis?
Yeah, Canubis. Yeah.
Canubis. Oh, I love it, man. I
Mhm.
love it. Are you so starting right with like the who are you? Are you native to Canada or did you move to Canada from I saw Egypt.
Uh, yeah, I moved from Egypt
Oh,
last year, March last year. Yeah,
oh, very cool, very cool. How
yeah.
what is the regulations like in Egypt for cannabis? Is this your first like dabble with it, period, or is it sort of prevalent and mainstream over there as well?
Well, no, no, it's not. It's actually punishable by the law.
Okay.
So if you're caught with it, if you're like selling it or using it, you'll
Mhm.
get in trouble for sure. So
Oh, okay. Okay, so it's
yeah,
it's
so you can say that it was an underground culture. So
right. Well, that's what I grew up in with New York. It's just underground.
mhm.
Punishable by law until a couple years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah.
Um, was were any of the regulations and punishments very strict out there? I know. I mean, there's people in New York that were in jail, like legitimate jail for small amounts of cannabis. Is that sort of the same
Yeah,
way over there?
exactly the same. Yes,
They would just throw you right in jail.
for any amount. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Like there's still some states that do that in the United States. So that's crazy. Yeah, that's nuts. So in Canada, you've sort of established yourself. You've been there for a year. You just said. So how long have you been growing?
I started in May of last year, so let me say 11, 12 months. Yeah, yeah, over a year,
Nice, very
you
cool.
could say that.
And were you doing
Mhm.
anything over there or at all, or just like recreational use and
Not just for my use recreationally, yes.
okay. I know you
Mainly
had.
for to help with the sleep, you know.
Yeah, no,
So
yeah, yeah. Insomnia is huge for a lot of people. I have
mhm.
some friends out in California that was one of sort of like the pioneer states for the U.S. and they have that wide array of medical ailments that
Mhm.
you can get written for. I mean, you can't get quite as many here in New York, but yeah, insomnia, anxiety, things like that out there are what I'm hoping New York and the rest of this country eventually get to. I think Canada is there as well. I think they do offer a wide array of medical applications for the plant. Um, so is sleep? I know you said you are disabled. Is it sleep that you're using it for? If you don't mind me
Yeah,
asking.
mainly, yeah.
So yeah,
Mhm.
so this, so are you sitting? You're mainly like an indica type person. Obviously, if no one stays with just one side, but are you using it recreational too? Uh,
Well, to be honest with you, I cannot tell the difference anymore between the two like main
yeah,
uh, classifications. So whatever it's like tasty, I like it to taste good. If it's fruit related, it would be fine. So
right.
otherwise, if it's like tastes good, I'm down with it.
Yeah, that's what I'm mainly in
So
for is
mhm.
the taste. I really like those old skunky, like
Yep.
some. I was at
Mhm.
the home grow championship in New York. It was based in like the Buffalo area last month, and someone had mentioned a phrase called basement dinge, like that basement dinge smell. Now I don't like
Yeah,
moldy
I
smell, but
can imagine. Yes.
I really
Mhm.
like a nice pungent bud. I really could care less how much THC's in it, as long as I can enjoy that aromatic or that taste from it. I do like getting high as well, but it's more about that smell than it is for me. So it's about taste, and for you, that's great.
Yeah.
Um, the so that brought you to growing. Did you really think that you were going to start posting things like that, showing it off? Were you apprehensive at first? to actually put your name out there, put your pictures out there, or was that really not a thought for you and it was just I'm doing this?
Well, it was like a month after I started. Um, the I never grown anything in my life. Uh, Nothing. I don't basically know nothing. So
Mm-hmm.
when I started, I figured out I could research this for a year and not do anything, or just buy the kit, buy the tent, get some seeds, throw them in the ground, and watch them grow and learn as we go. So
Yep.
I went with the ladder.
Yep.
So
Very cool. I saw you were
uh,
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
mhm.
Oh, I was gonna say I saw you were shown on AC Infinity After Dark. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
I was scrolling. That's actually how I found you. You know, I was scrolling through
Mhm.
just the AC Infinity After Dark, and then I saw your name pop up. The comment, so happy to like have you on the show or whatever. I was like, oh, let me check this guy out. But your name first, like your name was what really drove me. I'm like, that's you like cornered it on there. Like that's a unique name, and it's so it flows. So like when you
Yep.
first thought of it, did it immediately like there was no question. You just knew it because I feel like as
Yeah,
soon as I
that's
read it, I'm like, oh, lucky bastard. That's a
yeah, that's
good
what
name.
happened actually. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good name, man.
Mhm.
It's really good. So that's pretty much how I really got started is just really like the smells and the tastes of it.
Mhm.
I've been doing it, people say underground, since I was
Yeah.
18. I'm 38 now, so it's about 20 years. I haven't been growing super heavy or anything. It was really just like a
Mhm.
hobby back then. But as time got closer towards like legalization and all of that,
Yeah.
it's where I started to I I didn't like the fact that everywhere I went, you were just basically taking the name for what it was, and you were hoping that that's what you got. Not that I grow the best stuff in the world, but I know exactly what I'm putting into it. I know where it's been. It brings me back to one of the comments I had because I also entered a strain from Dank seeds into that home grow championship, and one of the judges' scorecards said I found a white hair in it. I was like, "Fuck yeah, you found a white hair in it!" Because my cat was running around all down there while I was trimming it up. It's like
Yeah.
I know
Mhm.
where all of my stuff's been and where
Mhm.
what's on it. So I didn't like the excuse me. I didn't like the thought of going into all these pop-up shops because it's like the Wild West here. It's
Yeah.
everybody's popping up illegally, and then some some groups of people are able to circumvent some of the state laws based on sovereignty, so they can pop
Mhm.
up with little to no regulations at all, and that's not necessarily a problem, but it just adds to the now you really don't know what you're getting. A lot of those pop-up shops were either they were buying it from California or they were buying it from Colorado and it was just getting shipped here.
Mhm.
These ones are grown here, so I guess that's a plus. But at least with those other ones you have some established strain names. You could look it up if you want, compare it. These pop-ups around here, they could just throw whatever they want on there. So
Mhm.
for the last, I'd say 7 years, I've just been doing it strictly so I don't have to spend money on the plant. I don't want to have to
Yeah.
go out, spend my time to go into a place. And not that I don't like talking to people, but yeah, I have to go in and listen to a spiel. I used to work retail. I know what they have to do, add-ons, all this stuff. When I just want to go in and grab what I already looked up online and I just want to grab it. So it's a cost savings for me now. And then growing up, I was always very vocal about it, so I would try and get everybody to talk, and that's what I'm doing here. Just getting people to talk about it, having having somebody like you that's from another country with just as strict laws as New York or Pennsylvania or like the Georgia, Florida areas. It's refreshing. I don't say that in I'm happy that you had such a hard time with the plan over there. It's refreshing to know that we aren't as ass backwards as a lot of people think that we are, because there's other areas of the world, there's other areas of the country that are also sort of like not really sure how they should handle this, and they're taking a very aggressive and I think wrong approach to it. So um, that's my backstory on it. So we know you've been going for about a year. I mean, I look forward to seeing what else you're going to have pop up because, I mean, a year, there's a lot of stuff you're going to come into. Have you dealt with pests yet? Have you dealt with, like a powder mildew infestation yet? How big is your setup?
I run a 2x4,
Okay.
yeah, with the DS Infinity Evo 3, the newer style bar light.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome, by the way. I'm flowing with it right now. Yeah, should harvest like maybe in a week or 10
Oh,
days. So
very cool. Very cool.
yeah, I'm waiting for the trichomes to turn.
Yep. What's the strain?
I'm running the frozen PAG
Okay.
from Robin Hood Seeds.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I have a couple Robin
Uh,
Hoods.
yeah, yeah. It's my first try with the photo periods. I started with the autos, those are 2 runs.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, those used the salts mainly.
Yep.
First round, I got the trio, the general hydroponics. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it was like the popular go-to solution on the internet. So started with that. It went okay. Got a nice harvest. Smoked it all actually, so it was fine.
Yeah, right.
But to be honest, it was better than the dispensary, like two folds.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you. Yeah, I bought like stale beads that doesn't taste like anything.
Yeah.
So when I went back, he said, yeah, yeah, it happens sometimes in the storage. Just like gets, I don't know, forgotten for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I give it to you. So yeah, he gave me like store credit, and then I said, okay, I have to do something about this. That was the time around when I found out that legally you can grow 4 plants per household. At least that's the rule here in Ontario. So uh, I wanted to get a tent, went online, uh, found so a good deal actually. Got the complete kit from AC Infinity, uh, digital controller,
Yeah.
which was a plus for me. Uh, like I cannot sometimes have ability issues, so having the controls in my phone was a plus for me.
Yep.
I went with the full kit and started, as I told you. Uh, I had reading on Reddit specifically. Many people were actually complaining about seeds being seized over the borders,
Yeah.
the border control, when sent from the USA. So I searched online for a Canadian-based uh, seller, got the Gorilla cookies, orders,
Mm-hmm.
periods, and planted that. I kept feeding it, and like I don't know, 4 months, but it took a very long time. I don't know why till now, but
Yeah.
finally it flowered, and I got a very nice smoke out of it.
Very cool.
Yeah, when I started planning for the second round. I decided to go with an automated watering system. Got the Autobot, uh, which is nice, by the way. If anyone looking for a solution,
Yeah.
other than that, working with the plumets and dialing them, I was lazy to tell you. So I went to the Autobot, which doesn't require any adjustments. You just hook it up and it does its thing. I didn't want to calibrate and
Yeah.
uh, experiment with the plumets and the flow, and
Right.
I was lazy. So yeah.
No, I agree. It's
So
the automation is where I'm at too. It's I've got the 8-port AC Infinity, the Wi-Fi one. It's
yeah.
the auto pots and the auto watering is sort of my next step. I haven't even really ever dealt with auto watering. It's because I've always thought in my head the first one in line is going to get more water than the next one in line, then the next one in line, then the next one in line, because I've never really made the jump to the autopod. I get what you're saying. I know the applications of it and how it works, but I had always tried to connect the AC Infinity one in my head, which is more of just a submersible pump for like a hydroponics application.
Mhm.
Um, and I would really like for AC Infinity to come out with like with a drip or something, some sort of either attachment to go on their auto pump, or a completely new device. I saw that they just came out with that $32,000 air condition unit that they have. It blows my mind. They already have heaters. They already have a lot of these things, and they just put it all into one. I sort of feel like I might have wasted my
Mhm.
money on some stuff, but I I struggled a lot with heat, and having that air conditioner, and so I'm passionate about telling everybody a solution to that $800 air conditioner is to just find an air conditioner that runs a starting amperage under 10, and you can use the AC Infinity 15 amp outlet that connects right to your controller, and then it'll just trip that AC on or
Automated.
off. Yeah,
Mhm.
and it's almost half the price once you work it out. AC Infinity is great, and I've been vocal with them on that. I'm not an influencer by any means, but I sent my support email about it, like, hey, how the hell can you guys charge $700 for this when you've already got everything but the air conditioner already available? Like, you just redesigned your circulation fans and your exhaust fans and your intake fans, and now this thing does circulation too. So it's like, which one are you trying to sell? But I do have to give it to them because I had problems with my oscillating fans. They were clicking, and I sent them the little orange sticker code on two of them, and they're sending me seven just as
Oh,
replacement.
nice.
Yeah, so I was like,
Nice.
I'll use some, like, I have a big grow space. I'm running a 10 by 10 and then a 4 by 4 for like mothers and clones. I'm gonna put some of those fans in my office and just buy like one of the cheap
Yeah, you get
Bluetooth
some use out of
controllers they
it.
got. Yeah, and just use one of those ones. Um, and that is or was my biggest challenge because I do most of my stuff outside, really, in it's not outside, it's in a shed, a slash barn, so it's not really the most insulated in the world. So having that air conditioned space has always been a real big challenge for me. um, with your 2x4, I had mentioned like pests and like mildew. Have you gotten anything with those? Usually with like a confined space, sometimes you
Fungus
have.
nets. Yeah,
Yeah. So
the first time. Mhm.
so what like what soils were you using? You said general hydroponics was the nutrients. Did you use like the pro
Yeah,
mix
it
that
was
everyone's
Promax
using?
HP. Mhm.
So I have had
Yeah,
really good luck with a Lowe's brand of sunshine mix, like number 44 it's called or something. It's got the myco in it and everything, but it comes really dry, so there's not really much living in it, and it doesn't
yeah.
have too much nutrients, so you're
Mhm.
not going to really have to worry about like over nuding it and locking it out. But it's a good alternative for anybody who has dealt with some sort of like soil borne uh, insects or pests out there. It also worked for me switching to that for my head powder mildew in my small 4x4, and just for the life of me, I had four fans blowing on the thing. I just could not get it to stop. Um, I switched up to soil. I also got a couple little like UV rings, and those
Mhm.
seem to work really well. Man, you're in for it. If you haven't had spider mites yet, I mean, and if you live in an area that doesn't have them, like arborvitae, big, like really weird fan bushed, like shrubs and hedges, people usually use them.
No, no. I'm lucky
Woo!
with that. Yeah.
Dude,
Mhm.
I took down a whole run. I'm saying about 20 feet of like 10-foot tall arborvitae, like they're called giant arborvitaes. They're huge because I would have the intake just sucking them in. I would use neem oil, then I would go in and use this other lavender citrus bullshit, and they're like a super bug. So if you don't kill all of them the first time, the ones that live and the ones that they
Yeah,
come, that
that's
shit's not gonna hurt them no more. So it's like,
yeah.
what the hell's going on? I've tried ladybugs too, which surprisingly you can get off of Amazon in like the 5,000 quantity, and just put them in your
Mhm.
fridge and they last for months. So that's always been a real big help as well. Um, so I guess that I would say that you said You have had those fungus gnats. Is that your biggest challenge? Again, you've only been in it for a year, so you
Yeah,
probably have hope you
yeah.
haven't had too many
I was lucky
challenges.
with this. Yeah,
Yeah. Um,
yeah.
so you said
The first time with the Pro Mix, I was actually, I didn't develop a good watering routine.
okay.
So it was wet most of the time. And then for some reason, I got a small bag of Pro Mix from the store.
Hmm.
And I think that's the one that came with the larvae.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah,
had that with Ocean Forest. I had it one
yeah.
time. That's it. Like it was
I had
day
to top,
one.
yeah. I had to top the pot. So I got a small bag of Pro Mix. And that was it, I think.
Hmm.
It was very wet, to
Yeah.
tell you. But back then, I didn't know. Uh, I was just playing with my luck.
Yeah. Hey, well, I mean, if you got
Yeah.
something to smoke
Hmm.
out of it for a first time, that's good.
Yep.
My first
Yep.
few times it
And
was like real stringy and I couldn't get it to like dense up, trial and error, dude, trial and error. Have you got real good or like read up on YouTube, watched on YouTube any of the trimming, pruning videos? Do you do any
yeah.
stress training or anything like that
Hmm.
to,
Yeah.
to,
I
to
started with
amplify?
low stress. Yeah, low stress training.
Okay.
First time I got bent them with the ties that came with the kit. That was a plus on the full kit that I didn't even know what low stress training was.
Hmm.
And I remember that I was watching YouTube, started seeing people bending the stems, tying them down. And the reason was to expose the inner parts of the plant uh, to more light, so it would develop more bud size. Uh, yeah, I tried that and it worked, I guess. Uh, it went fine. I
Hmm.
had three plants. Yeah, I went with three plants with the fabric pots that also came with the kit. Uh, it was the humidity was actually over 80% while flowering.
Yeah.
It was a disaster,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I lost one of the three, actually maybe 3 or 4 days before harvest.
Oh, no.
Suddenly I started smelling something rotten. So it was bud rot.
Yep. Trial and
Yeah,
error, man. Trial and error.
yeah, yeah. I chopped that one down. Uh, Inspected the other two; they were fine. Uh, so harvested them like for 5 days later. Dry them. I got the weed dryer uh, rack, which is like a mesh rack
Mhm.
that has a fan and a carbon filter that goes on the top.
Oh, cool.
So it pulls the air like yeah.
Did you
Uh,
Did you with the bud rot? Was it deep in or was it still just on the outsides of the buds
uh,
themselves?
one cola, the biggest one
Yeah.
on that plant, was in the corner. So I think blowing the fan under the canopy with the fabric pots that raised the humidity
Yeah.
so much
Yep.
that it was actually with the fan under the canopy blowing in that direction. That's uh, the way I thought it happened.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's the case or it
Right.
was maybe a caterpillar that was growing at the time. We actually moved to this apartment in January, so I started in May. So I still maybe there was a couple of insects crawling around,
Yeah.
uh, mainly ants, thankfully. Nothing, nothing bigger than that. So we take care of that. We clean all the time. I try to keep the tent clean. And with the Autobot, the second time I went with the Coco,
Okay. Cool.
70/30 per light. Yeah, it was very easy to tell you with the topsoil. Maybe go for like 2 inches. That would be completely dry,
Yeah.
and everything under that would be moist with the Autobot system. So there was nothing. The larva couldn't find any moist uh, topsoil to invest.
Right.
It went great with the cocoa. It was using the Green Planet dual fuel. It was recommended as a developed for or like to work with the Autobot system.
Mhm.
It's an A and B with like three additives. Yeah, one is from seed to harvest. The other one is the resin that supposedly work with the trichomes and making it more resinous for passion like rosin development. If you want to press them,
Right.
you could get more um, substance inside the trichomes to for a nicer press.
Yeah.
I tried it last time; it was working
Oh, you,
great.
you did press it. Nice.
Yeah, no, just smoke it. But it was very
Oh,
like
okay.
when I was trimming, it was a disaster. Your fingers
No,
get
I was just
stick
doing it with
out.
my hand too. I was like,
Yep,
yeah, oh, I fucking
yep.
know that. It's like you ever.
I just,
It sounds disgusting, but you ever scrape the stuff off your finger and smoke it?
I smoke. Yep,
Oh
that's what
yeah,
I did
man,
actually. Yeah,
smoking skin. It's
yeah.
all right. Everyone does.
I'd like pinch it really hard, and it drops as a small bite.
Yep.
So it would go uh, in the grinder,
Yep.
and it takes its yeah. I smoke. It's awesome talking
With
about.
your trimmings, have you ever thought of or tried doing like a bubble hash? It's very easy. If you ever thought
Yeah,
about doing it, it's something
maybe
I enjoy.
I want that's one I actually want to go next. But first I want to add another tent. You want to get for like space reasons. I want to get another 2x4.
Yeah.
So I would go with the legal four plants that I'm supposed to grow. Uh, I'd like to always abide by the law. So if they say four, good with four.
Yeah. Right.
So what? Yeah, if I ran the two tents, I think I might get into like getting a rest and getting some bubble hash, and
Yep.
yeah, I'll go that route for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. We used to make it with like this shatter, I guess they called it. We used to make it with butane. And that shit was nasty. You had to let it gas off in your house. It's fucking wild. But once I heard about the bubble hash with that Dr. Bubble, those bags, and man, it's amazing. They say that so when you do it, it's gonna tell you that it should only take a good hour or two. Well, I left the shit because I'm lazy. I got done. I
Mhm.
stirred it. I did everything. I strained it, sifted it out, got what I could. And then I just put everything back in, put more ice on it, and I left the shit overnight. And when I came down in the morning, man, I had like a golf ball of just bubble hash. It might have not been the most,
Just
like the strongest stuff in the world because I let it sit and strain, do its
yeah,
thing, but it's like three times more than what I had the day
more
when I did it. I
yeah.
was like, oh, okay, well,
Mhm.
I just use it as topper anyway. I don't smoke it. Like I smoke it, but I just let it get it dry enough to
Mhm.
powder, and then I put it on top. So it was good. It was a nice little creme de la creme on top of the buds that I was smoking. So and it's easy, and it really gets you down to all of your trimmings are now taken care of as well. It's a bitch to
Mhm.
clean up, but what isn't a bitch to clean up? The tent
It's
itself's a bitch.
worthwhile. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So two 4x4s. I thought that Canada was honestly, this is my ignorance. I thought you guys didn't really have to worry about a limit. I thought you were just able to grow as many as you could grow, as long as you didn't like go crazy and start selling it or whatnot. So we can actually have six per person in a house. 12
Mhm.
for a two adult home, six adolescent vegging, and then six flowering. So I guess that's one leg we have up on you. It took forever to get the regulation passed, but I guess that's one
Mhm.
leg we have. Does it go up if you had like a significant other, or is four with a significant other? Like, could you have eight in the long run? And what do they actually tell you that of those four, only two of them can be flowering and two of them can be veg, or is it just you can have four plants in your house?
No, you can just have for whatever the
See,
stage of growth.
right.
Yeah,
So,
but you can that's you can say the free pass that the government gives the everybody can do it. If you have a medical condition that requires a certain amount of THC or weed per month,
uh-huh.
you can apply for a license, and you can increase that up to I think 14 plants indoors and 14 plants outdoors
At the same time.
uh, at the same time. Yeah.
Well, that's pretty
And
cool. We don't have anything like
yeah,
that.
it's called the ASM. I think it's ACMPR, the type of license there is. You could apply for it if you have the condition
Hmm.
that require. some consumption,
Hmm.
and you want to plant it yourself, not buy it from the even the medical dispensary is like expensive, and it's not.
Yeah.
Uh, there's a certain type of strains they only deal with, as far as I know. So you'd have more variety for sure, growing your own.
Right. Well, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
if you're willing to
you
do
could
that,
split it
and
up. You could do one. That's that's really cool. That license. I'm not going to pretend to remember the acronym
Mhm,
letters you just said, but it. So I have a medical license in New York. I had it before we went legal, and it didn't really get you a damn thing. Like instead of I could go back when all that was around was medical dispensaries. We didn't sell flour. You could either get a vape
mhm,
or you're getting shake. That's all they would give you, and because they didn't want you to burn it, they wanted you to put it in a
mhm.
vaporizer and smoke it because it's healthier. I get
Ah,
it,
yeah.
I get it, but nobody wants that shit. If they wanted that
Mhm,
shit, they would buy that stuff, and there's a reason why
mhm,
no one was buying it. So I didn't. That's when I stopped. But you could. The only benefit to being a medical patient was A, you could smoke it, but B, you could
mhm.
buy like 4 pounds or 4 ounces at a time instead of three. So it's like it's not even really beneficial. But when the whole thing went legal, when our governor at the time legalized it, medical patients could immediately start growing. Day one,
Yeah,
we could grow three adolescent, three flowering, or together six and
three
six.
invention. Mhm,
So that was the one benefit to having it. So now there's nothing really in place for medical patients except for I can have more at my house than the next person. I can have 5 pounds at my house instead of 3 pounds. I mean,
mhm.
what's the fucking difference between 3 and 5 when you're just doing it to smoke? So I've looked into, we have like micro business licenses here where it's not a full-fledged, cultivation company or
Mhm.
dispensary. It's like a craft brewery in a sense. It's
Oh yeah.
You're
Mhm,
limited. It's still a lot of space, like 3,500 square feet indoor canopy size, no limit on the amount of plants, just however many you can fit in there.
mhm.
There was a mixed hybrid where you could do like 2,500 inside and then another 5,000 outside, or just 10,000 square feet outside.
Oh
Yeah, which is it's fucking a lot. I mean,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I live in like a 2,100 square foot house here, and I can't imagine filling this whole thing up, and that's not even enough to get the indoor license. But I had looked into doing that because it allows you to grow more of those. You don't necessarily have to
Mhm.
have a functioning dispensary. You have to have a storefront, but it's more
Yeah.
of what I figure. You ever go to like a travel agent? They're not there all day. You call them and you make your
Yeah.
appointment and they meet you there, at their office, or their insurance agents meet you at that office. And that's sort of what a micro business is here. It gives you all of that ability and flexibility to do that growing, to do that distribution, because you can sell and process up to 1,500 pounds a year. You can buy up to
Oh.
700 pounds a year, but you have to have that storefront, like I said. So
Mhm.
like in my eyes, it'd be sort of like a wholesale thing that you get called upon, and then if you were going to sell something, it'd be weight, it'd be something like that. But that's the easiest thing we have to get into. That's awesome that you could, if you applied for it. Is it expensive? Like, do you have to pay a crap ton of money,
I
or
think it's
just
around maybe over $500.
over 500? Shit, the micro
Yeah,
business
I
ones
think
here are
I'm not.
5,000, and that
Yeah,
doesn't even mean you get the license.
yeah,
That's the
yeah.
application and some
I for me,
processing.
yeah, for me, just having four plants would be more than enough.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really interested in knowing the details on the license.
Right, right. Well, the
But see,
one
you
thing it
can.
is, and
Everyone.
oh, go ahead.
Mhm.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, anyone can look it up online. I think you can apply with the document. If you have documentation that supports your case,
Okay.
you can apply online and get it.
Oh,
You don't
that's
have to. Yeah,
jealous.
no inspection, nothing, as far as I know. Yeah, you
Wow.
could grow your own if you got in trouble. If the police came for example, yeah, I have my license to grow like 10 plants or 20 plants, so you don't get in trouble. Uh,
Wow.
you read on the internet that yeah, if like me, you're a home grower, the basic home grower, if you say, with the 4 plants. So for example, I did 8. When if, for example, the police came, uh, authorities came to check for whatever reason, you'll get a fine for sure. So it's not unless you're like doing maybe 100 plants
Right, right.
in a very small space. So yeah, so like basically you're selling it. So,
Yeah.
so what's the point? But if you're like getting 1 or 2 plants more in your chance for whatever grow space you have going, uh, you can get away with it
Yeah.
usually.
Yeah. I
So
mean, they got to have a reason to be there. You know what I mean? That's not like
yeah,
they're just
yeah,
looking for you. Well, I think
yeah,
this guy's got 5 plants. I feel it in my gut. It's
yeah.
yeah, and that's how I feel here. Before I had moved into this house with my wife, um, before we got married anyway, I guess I would say like I had my plants. I might have had a couple extra, like, but
Yeah,
really, who and how? I don't think you can arrest me now, but like, who or how are they gonna know? And that's one of the things as well. That's part of that stigma that really has people by the balls in this space, because there used to always be stories about how helicopters would fly over your house, and if they saw that there was just one room super bright, they would come to your house. Like, they didn't do
yeah.
that in
Heat
towns.
detection. Yeah.
They didn't do that in
Hmm.
towns. That was like out in California at like the Green Triangle or whatever they call it, where they're trying to catch a lot of people doing a lot of bad things. But people around here, the fear of God in anybody when it comes to this, and having people talk about it, makes me happy because it gives me something to talk about, because this is one of the biggest passions I have outside of my family and my job. um, I love talking about this, and when you say, I'm going to get another 4x2x4 tent, dude, the itch is coming. You already got it.
Yeah,
You got the
yeah,
itch, man. And
yeah.
you
What
might
happens is
see
like I
yourself
couldn't.
like a year or two
Mhm.
being like, shit, like I just want to do it just to do it. And you might end up having that license. I,
Maybe, yeah.
it's one of those things where you can sit in a 2x4 tent. You can't really sit there, but in a 10x10 tent, I could go sit in there with all of these things, and like, I'm not talking to
Hmm.
them. I'm not crazy or nothing, but I'm sitting there staring at them. Like it's something I've never seen before, and that's part of like what's still in me about like, oh man, like this is so special that I'm going to sit here and look at it, because it's not something that we've always been able to do. It's so new to be sitting in here looking at this, not worrying what's going to happen. Is
Hmm.
somebody going to find out? Am I going to stink? I never really gave a fuck if I stank anyway, but like, am I going to stink picking my kid up from daycare? Um,
Hmm.
I don't care as much anymore now. So, and trying to get, I mean, if you were around here and you grew up with me, you would know, like, I was always that kid whose parents hated that you were hanging out with me, because I was that stoner. When in reality, a lot of those kids' parents don't know that those kids are the ones that got me smoking. But,
Or
but
they're the
I've always
disturbed.
been vocal. I've never hid it. I've never really cared. I did have the luxury of my mother not really caring so much, because I didn't get in trouble. So I would talk about it. I would show people pictures of the plants I have in this shitty ass panda paper lined closet that I was doing something in, with the biggest overpowered high pressure sodium light crisping and burning these plants up. Uh, and I do see some traction. I mean, like with events that pop up around here. Are there a lot of events in Canada that you guys can actually go to, or is it non-existent up there? Like, we have tons of events that people call sticker
Yeah.
sticker events, where they'll go buy a sticker and you get a dub for free or something because they don't have their license. But well, that's good, because events are a real good networking piece for not just the grower to find somebody to get rid of it to, or to learn something, but for you to actually build a relationship with somebody that, yeah, you might learn something from them, but you could actually create a friendship off of something like this, because you're talking about it. You're piquing interest on
It
somebody
happens.
who, yeah,
Mhm.
who hasn't really ever talked to anybody about this, and now they got somebody who wants to a listen, which is the big part, and b answer back with something they might not have known. Uh, and that happened to me, I feel like a lot with nutrients. It was, I've gone from like Humboldt nutrients to the Bud Blasters, the Big Buds, Lotus, which I hate. I hate Lotus. To I'm on Pride Lands now. I don't know if you would say
Mhm.
it's like Green Grow. I use that. I got
Yeah,
turned on to that from there's like a subscription box here in the United States called Crop Culture, and
yeah.
if you've seen him, yeah, he tailored one of his boxes like 6 months ago, or it might have been last year, where it was just filled with Pride Lands nutrients, Pride Lands everything, and man, I've never had buds that were so big. So I've strictly used that for almost, yeah, it's got to be 8 to 10 months, and
Mhm.
never turning back. But I can talk to people about this powdered nutrients. I've made it a point to stick like to stay away from. Like I said, the reason I hate Lotus is because it didn't dissolve as readily as a liquid would. But
Other
this Pride Land
nutrients.
stuff, it's gone, and you got that color change in your water, so you know it's there, but you don't have to worry about rinsing a jug afterwards, so you don't get no nasty foul odor or anything like that.
Mhm.
But I've made, no joke, like I've made friends off of getting that crop culture box and seeing that. In the crop culture box, I got the Aurora Plus germinator. I don't know if you've seen that from Root
Oh
Nerds.
yeah, yeah.
I've built
Shout out
a
for the nuts. Yeah.
yeah, I built a friendship
Mhm.
with him off of it. I invited him out to the dude named Mark. He owns half the
Your
company.
first episode,
Yeah,
yes.
man.
Mhm. Yeah.
He's a stand-up guy. Showed up to the Cannabis Festival out there, hooked me up with shirt, hat, banner, and
Awesome.
I call that thing the weed Dutch oven, man. And if you haven't got one, he ships overseas. Talk to him. I know he's got like deals going on for factory seconds. I know he's got like a Gen 3 coming
Mhm.
out. That that is the best seed popper I've ever had, and I will stand by it. I'm thinking about putting it in my kid's school, not for cannabis obviously, but just pique interest in the overall growing agriculture, horticulture, cultivation of anything, um,
Mhm.
to release
It would
that.
work, yeah.
Yeah, to
Mhm.
get it a little bit more education friendly, get a little bit more fun, and get some stigma related to even just going outside. Kids don't want to go outside and grow plants. They want to get their hands dirty, but they don't want to go out there and watch something grow. And without showing your kids cannabis, or really throwing them inside your tent. If you enjoy doing that tent work, you can enjoy doing that work outside with your kid as well. So I thought that was like a win-win for me and my personal
Mhm.
like life case for this. So um yeah, that crop culture box, I mean, like I said, it's 10 months. It's really changed how I'm doing things, and got me a buddy on it as well. So it's
I
something
got
that,
one
yeah.
last year, yeah.
If you
Mhm.
do you have any types of like boxes or anything like that up in
Yeah,
Canada that,
I got the crop culture one
so he
last
ships
year.
to Canada? I didn't know he did that. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. I think it was his second or third release.
Okay.
It was very early on in his run. Uh, I was watching Jeremy from Build the Soil.
Yep.
I think he sent him a box, and Jeremy opened it on his live stream. Uh, I like the idea. Uh, I contacted Chris. Shout out to Chris from Club Culture.
Yeah.
He was so nice, answered my questions, asked specifically about are you shipping to Canada. As I told you at the beginning, that many cases online, like complain, it got seized in the border.
Right.
Whatever the seller, whatever the sender, we could uh, basically get tagged for some reason, and it would be confiscated. So uh, when I got, it's not that safe to get from the US, but I asked him. He said, no, I delivered a couple to Canada over the past 3 weeks, and that's fine. Past the port, there's no problem. So I ordered one. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, and I see he's actually
Yeah,
doing autopods now too in his most recent run,
yeah,
which is
yeah.
it's like, oh damn.
Actually, the frozen PAG, the European Hood seed that I'm running now,
Yeah.
it's the one I got from the crop culture box
Oh, cool.
last year.
I won a
So yeah.
giveaway on
Mhm.
his 2 or 3 months ago. So I actually got
Mhm.
just a bunch of extra Pride lands, all the stickers, all the keychains. But he
Ah,
sent
yeah.
these
Well,
scissor
that's so nice.
cleaners. I don't know if you've
Hmm.
seen them. Like I the application for it is great. I like the scissor hash
Hmm.
though, so it's sort of like you're cleaning it. You want to see it get cleaned, but at the same time you're losing your scissor hash. But so I cleaned a little bit of it and then put them through there. Holy man, it looked like it was brand new scissors. And I was like, "Where'd you find these?" He's like, "People just they just call me up."
Yeah,
He's like, "Hey, I got these
yeah,
things," and he buys all of that stuff a lot of the times too, and
yeah.
just puts it in there. So I got a jeweler's loop in the giveaway. I've got the big I don't know what's they're big. I don't know. It's like for cutting roses. Um, so it's
All his items is actually you can call them useful items.
yeah, for
You
sure.
would always, as a grower, use them. Like you said, a loop would be good. Uh, I got the shears, the wide ones.
Yeah, the big
That
ones.
yeah. If I didn't have those in the second run, would have got the main stem was like 2 inches thick. If I didn't have that shear in the box, I wouldn't have, I couldn't have cut them down. I don't know what if I did. Yeah, it was so thick, so
Hmm. Did
it worked fine for me. Yeah.
he also sent me his three exclusives that he's actually crossed: the Peonia Blue Skies, the Peonia
Oh
Green
yeah.
Skies, and then I forget the other one. Um, I haven't popped any of those yet. I can't wait to. I've seen a lot of his pictures on them, and they look frosty as fuck. And
Yeah,
the
it's a
fact
very
that
nice
he's
strain.
got
Yes. Mhm.
these, he's putting in the work for these things as well. So he's almost coming to like a self sufficient spot with the genetics portion of it. Um, yeah, it's just I could talk about all these people doing all these great things in this space all day because it I don't know, it's stuff I've used. I've watched them send it out to other people. I've got it myself. I've used it. It's useful. It's not just one of those fucking pollen shucker things that you go out you get, like, you don't know what you're getting off of some of these places on Instagram
Mhm.
where it's I'm doing a sale, buy one get 16 packs free. Like, well, where the fuck did you get all that? Like,
Yeah.
and oh, you've been sitting on this shit for blah 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 blah. So it's yeah, it's ugh. I could talk
It's a
about
mess.
it
Yeah.
forever. Yeah,
Mhm.
um,
But it could be.
yeah,
Mhm.
very well could be. So dropping down towards the last portions of this, would it? You live in Ontario, so that's really right
Yeah.
over the border from me. So is ever coming to New York to an event something that you would be interested in doing? There's not any in the books right now, but if there was an event in Buffalo, do you live close enough to the border to, if you were invited, maybe like a ticket or anything, like could you make it across the border in a reasonable amount of time, or would you be interested in doing that?
I'd be interested, but I don't know the status of my permanent residence.
Gotcha.
I don't know if I can cross the border at all. I didn't actually ask or like I wasn't interested in crossing.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm open if my status allows me. I would go. Yeah.
I think that'd be cool. I think that'd be really cool. It's an event focused around stigma release is what I'm really thinking about. Getting
Hmm.
getting everybody together, not to sell to anything, not to vend out, so to speak, but to maybe have classes, groups, people coming around to talk once a year. Sort of, we do a thing in America called NECAN, or they do. I don't do it, where it's just like a big learning consortium, or I don't know what the hell you would call it, like a conference. That's the word I'm trying to think of.
Yeah.
Where
Hmm.
they're showing you things, applications of these. I don't know if
With the
AC Infinity's.
speakers, that's yeah.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of
Hmm.
podcasts like I'm gonna butcher the name, like Shot to Shell or something like that, podcast, whatever. They're going to be there. They've got a booth, and it's really focused on that education and
Hmm.
getting things in
Getting
the
the word
hand.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, getting things in the
Hmm.
hand of users as well. So um, I'm really looking forward to doing these types of things as everything progresses here. Being as close as you are, if you did find out your status and you were able to come, I think that'd be a great opportunity to. One person's not going to do it, but you know what? Like it'd be a great opportunity to have people from Canada come down as well as well as Ohio over, and the New England areas over
Hmm.
to talk and show that everybody's really been through this whole regulation aspect. You being from Egypt is that's regulation change for you 100%, going from a place that was as strict as it could be, just like we
Yeah.
were, to an immediate change. you
Yeah.
you've seen it. You know exactly what people here in New York are going through, but you've not had to wait to see what all of these changes can bring, because Canada has already changed. They were already done with
Yeah.
those things by then. um, uh, I could talk about all the things I want to do for hours and hours, but I, I try to keep it to around an hour, so I don't want to take too much more of your time up. It's really, if we were to do more lives like this, more podcast-ish, but have a group of people on this Zoom, is that something that you'd be comfortable with? Because that's the next step for me. I'm gonna finish this year out with singular podcast episodes. I do have one group one coming up with a recap of the championship, but if there was more of like a 8 to 10 person group, that not everybody was talking like for the whole thing, but there was like one or two people that were really the focals of that, to go
Hmm.
over like a set, timeline like this kind of, but go over like a set amount of things that the group would listen to, and then the next time we meet, two more people go. um, Gosh, when I say it, it sort of sounds like an AA or an NA. I don't intend it to be like
Yeah.
that, but
Hmm.
it's what it sort of comes off as. But that's my next step, and I'd really love to be able to say to people, I'm having everybody. Like, it's not just an American thing. It's not just a New York thing. Canada. I mean, if anybody else around the world wanted to be on it, um, I think it would be more the merrier, and anything that they could bring to the table,
Sure.
you could bring to the table, could help somebody. Just going over what you're
Sure.
doing as a person in for a single year, whether you think that you dropped anything on me, someone's going to listen to this, whether it be the one person that does, or the 10 people, or it goes viral. Someone's going to learn
Hmm.
something. It, and if they don't learn something, they're going to be comfortable with the, oh, I only have enough room for a 2x4. You just
Yeah.
said you had
Yeah.
3 plants in there, one of them died, two of them were good, and it smoked fine. Have you had to go out
Yeah.
to dispensaries and buy because you have run out?
All the time. Yeah. I would do
Okay.
that. Actually, I was like, I have three dispensaries within walking distance of my home, 2, 3 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
you say. So it was so easy to get until like 9 p.m. So if I was out, I was going down all the time. Uh, Started with flowers,
Yep.
smoking them for a couple of days. Then I got into the cartridges, the screw up ones that you get for the pens and
Mm-hmm.
the devices. Yeah, I got with those for a while. Then I went back to flower.
Nice.
Before I found out I was paying too much every day, every week.
Yep.
So, and I'm not getting actually a satisfiable product.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it became like a game of luck. You could get some good stuff, or usually you're not getting some good.
Right.
So let's grow. Yeah, got
Yeah.
my first tent. You could start with a shorty 2x2 and grow a plant in there. It would work. If you got a small light,
Mm-hmm.
maybe like 100 watts, it would work great in a 2x2. You'd grow some uh, good flower, basically.
Mhm.
So if you want to start, yeah, go with a small tent and see where it takes you. Uh, that's what I went with. Got my first tent. Started with a 2x4. So if I have the space, I'll go like 5x5 or 4x4. But I think I'm gonna stick for now with the 2x4.
Yeah.
Works for me. So having my four plants, yeah.
You don't see a
Uh,
lot of people show 2x4 areas on Instagram too. I mean, I know they're out there, but everyone's showing huge tents.
yeah.
And that, to be honest, that might be why AC Infinity like found you. Like who the hell's using our 2x4 tents? And
Yeah. Yeah.
so you really are. Don't get it twisted, man. You really are showing people something that they might think isn't enough, and you're showing them that it
Mhm.
is enough. It's enough. If you're on the fence about a 2x4, you should probably just buy a 2x4, you know, because it is
Yeah.
enough. Phew. Well, no.
Yeah. You could get
Go ahead.
some good light in there. You
Yeah.
could get actually over a pound easily. You did some work.
How much did you get
So
off of your two plants?
I think my first time I got like I was terrible with trimming, so it was a little bit with leaves, but I think I got about like 350, 400 grams.
Nice.
I smoked them for like 4 months, 5 months, heavily.
Yeah.
So it was a good patch.
No, that's
Then I
good.
stopped for a while. I went for the second run. Uh, did two autos again, but this time it was different strains. I looked in the catalog. They were compatible time-wise.
Yeah.
They basically would finish together. So I went with the 420 Fast Buds, the Tropicana cookies, and Mephisto Genetics, the double grape,
Yep.
which is my favorite, by the way.
Okay. Cool.
Uh, yeah, yeah,
I'm
and
a
a very
I'm
nice
a
plant
Gorilla
too.
Glue guy. Oh,
Ah,
I
yeah,
love me some
yeah,
glue.
yeah. It was my favorite. It was my only one. So until I tried the double grape.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was some fire,
And
let
you
me
said
tell
that's
you.
from Mephisto? That's where you got it from?
Mephisto Genetics, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I see a
Yeah.
lot
It
of
was
people posting about them.
yeah, they're doing some great work there. Their seeds work some people a guy in the northern Canada, his job is like taking him days or weeks sometimes away from his grow. So he started getting the Autobot system. His name is Autopotamus, like the
Oh,
hippopotamus.
yeah.
Yeah, he combined the name for like I think he's 3 or 4 years in, maybe more.
Right.
Not sure. So this guy is like the god of Autobots. So he grows some night owl feeds, and he was getting like 15 6 foot plants. Yeah, great bud structure. Great. He smokes them in a vaporizer, so it's like living the dream.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he started growing Mephistos, and let me tell you, they can be huge. Yeah.
Nice. I'll
Yeah.
have to look into
It's
those
very
for my
nice
next ones.
genetics if you want. Yeah, if you want to try some oats, they are definitely on the list.
Yeah. Um, real quick, before I start winding down, are you allowed to like ship and receive clones in Canada? Is that?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. We can actually also send by mail flour.
Huh.
I think up to an ounce,
Holy shit.
maybe something like this. Oh yeah, you can send them uh, by mail regularly. This no problem. That's a plus.
Oh,
If you wanna
that is a plus.
receive, yeah, if you can send a friend or something.
Very cool.
Seeds are allowed, so if you're sending seeds anywhere in Canada or receiving from anywhere in Canada, there's no problem.
Right.
Always find you. Yeah.
That's one of the
So
things in United States and New York really
mhm.
that there's not there's some regulations on it, but you can do the seeds and the clones, uh, to my knowledge, without any permit at all. So that's, I guess that's a plus too. So,
Mhm.
huh. um, well, no, I would like to really work with you more. Like I asked about the clones. I'm gonna look into seeing if there's an ability to send clones to you if possible. Um, I might have some sticky glue rooted that if I can, I would shoot you out a clone so you could try this sticky glue photo. I have them going, or I could have them going anytime really. So I know you said you're doing photos right now, so they probably wouldn't line up with what you have, and it'd be a terrible light cycle change. So, like a partnership as far as these genetics that I do have, because I have a nice catalog on my website. If you go on to the danktank.net and look at the strain lists, to try and get some of these legendary, I call them, strains out there to people. And a lot of them I don't have too many seeds of. I have maybe like 3 seeds left of them. So I would be growing them and then cloning them to send them out in the hopes that, people would enjoy them, and that people, maybe if they wanted, and if I could, maybe I get a male and a female, because a lot of these ones I have are reg seeds, which are, allows you to do a lot more, but it's a lot more work. But
Yeah.
testing, and furthering the strain along the down the line, maybe we can get some incredible phenos off of this, with some profiles that we have never seen or haven't seen the likes of in ages. So if I can, I'd like to talk to you more about that in the future. Maybe regulations change here federally for the United States, and we can start just shipping it without worrying about anything, because I think that would be awesome.
Hmm.
Um, but and
Yeah, sure.
and the group thing, I'm gonna get one scheduled up, so I'd like to call up on you to see if maybe you wanted to be in one of those groups. Just toss ideas around, shoot the shit, banter back and forth about what we've got going and what we're doing at the time, and or is bothering us. And it would be earlier in the day, fucking
Oh yeah,
10:30 at
yeah.
night,
Sure, if it works with my time, I'm open. Yeah,
right.
let's do this. No problem. Yeah, sure.
So yeah, no. Again, I appreciate you rolling with the punches with me last night. I
Oh
apologize for
yeah.
not being able to get
No, never
that
mind.
boy to
It's
bed. And then tonight as well. I was a little bit 5 minutes late. Appreciate you at least watching your messages and popping back
yeah,
on.
sure, no problem.
Appreciate that. And until we talk again, dude, this was the Funkast. You're gonna see this post. This posted. I'm into about mid-August right now, barring no setbacks. So you should see it pop out right around then. Leading up to it, I will have postings hyping it up. So if anything's happening with you around that time, I'll let you know when I'm about to go. And if you have things like,
Sure.
hey, could use this too, or show this as well, by all means, shoot it over to me. And just so you know, the recording's still going, but I stopped it in my head. I know when I can go back and remove it, so this won't be on there. So yeah, if there's anything on there that you're proud of, or anything on there that you'd be like, fuck yeah, I just want people to see this, like, I'll use that as some of the promotional material for it as well. Um,
Hmm.
I'll even say, maybe to get more traction, maybe get AC, like, to see that you're on it, like, share the podcast with you on it. I'll put that you, like, an after dark freaking person. I don't know how I
Sure.
would
Yes. Hmm.
phrase that,
Hmm.
but yeah, no, I'm shot. So apologize for having to be late at night. That's works for me. I'm glad it worked for you.
No worries.
And
That's
I
fine.
hope
No
you
worries.
have a great rest of your night, man. I really do appreciate. I really appreciate your name, Ahmed. You are the man. Your name is the shit. Uh,
Thank you.
yeah, and my name's Steve. I don't know if I told you, but
Yeah.
yeah. And if you need anything, you need any suggestions, if you need any at all, let me know. I'm here to help all the time. And
Thanks, brother.
I'm
Thanks,
gonna
brother. Appreciate it. Yeah.
send me your address in Instagram, because I'm gonna shoot you over
Hmm.
a T-shirt and a little backpack thing. So,
Awesome.
yep.
That's awesome. That will be awesome. Yeah.
So,
Sure.
thank you very much, man. You have a great rest of your night.
Thank you.
Thank you.